Hello, aspirants. Good evening once again. So, before going into the topic, I just want to say a quote by Nelson Mandela that is, to deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. I said this because today, that is September 6th of 2018, has become a day of great importance in the history of India. That is because today, India's Supreme Court has decriminalized homosexual sex acts in a landmark judgment for gay rights. That was a quite good judgment. So I'm not extending my speech. Let's move into the topic. Today we will be dealing with Vision's Current Affairs June 2018, and we'll be covering the portion of art and culture. So first of all, in the culture section, the first thing is that it begins with Vakataka dynasty. Okay, so why was it in the news? A team of archaeologists have confirmed that the Vakataka dynasty ruled from its capital Nandivardhan, or the present day Nagardhan. And this Nandivardhan, or the present day Nagardhan, is a large village discovered near Ramtek Taluka in Nagpur district. And this Nagpur district is in Maharashtra. I have mentioned it here. So, because of this, because of archaeology, a team of archaeologists confirmed that the Vakataka dynasty ruled from from its capital Nandivardhan, which was in Maharashtra present day. Okay, so let's see some important facts about the Vakataka dynasty. Vakataka Empire originated from the Deccan in the mid 3rd century, and they are considered to be the successors of Shatavahanas in the Deccan, and also they were during the time of Guptas in the northern India. And Vakataka dynasty is a Brahmin dynasty, and many often doesn't know that who was the founder of this family, and it was Vindhya Shakti who was the founder of the family, that is the Vakataka dynasty. And the territorial expansion happened after the time of Vindhya Shakti, and the territorial expansion began in the reign of Vindhya Shakti's son Pravarasena I. That is a fact, you should note that. And the other things are, the Vakatakas are noted for having been patrons of arts, architecture and literature. Vakatakas were very fond of arts, architecture and literature. And because we can notice that they are very fond of arts, architecture and literature, that from the next point, that the rock-cut Buddhist viharas and chaityas of Ajanta caves. Ajanta caves, it's the UNESCO World Heritage Site, and Ajanta caves were built under the patronage of Vakataka Emperor Harisena. And there is one important fact that most often doesn't know, that cave number 16 of Ajanta caves have the artworks related to the Vakataka family. Okay, so it was during the period of Vakataka Emperor Harisena. Okay, so you can see in the map how the empire was situated in India, and you can take a physical map of India and you can just notice how was it extended. To the north, the empire was up to the Satpura range, and towards west and south, they covered till the Balghat and Harishchandra range, and towards east, they almost covered the Maikala range, and they also had the Godavari river inside their empire. And let's see the significance of this discovery. Till now, the researchers have only managed to get written inscriptions and copper plates, all featuring the Vakataka king Prithvisena. And this was the first trace sealing that the fact that the king shifted his capital from Padmapura to Nandivardhan in Vidarbha. So, as we said above, that they ruled the empire from the capital Nandivardhan, which is in Maharashtra. But before Nandivardhan was the capital, their capital was Padmapura in Vidarbha. Okay, and the next thing is that the archaeologists have unearthed many vital signs remains in the form of typical artifacts, including ceramics, ear studs made of glass. That's an important point. Ear studs made of glass were excavated belonging to the period during the Vakataka rule. See, these are the usual things that are excavated by the archaeologists. And the other usual things are terracotta objects depicting images of gods, animals, humans, along with amulets and etc. etc. And The other thing is that a near intact clay ceiling of the Vakataka Empress Prabhavati Gupta, who was the chief queen of the Vakataka king Rudrasena II, has also been unearthed. And that was a really that is a very really important point. They excavated something else, and that was the clay ceiling of the Vakataka Empress Prabhavati Gupta, and she was the chief queen of Vakataka king Rudrasena II. That was also unearthed. That's it about the Vakataka dynasty. So you should just check out the physical map also, that their empire's extension. And so let's move on to the next one, that is Saint Kabir. So Saint Kabir, why is it so important? Because our honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he just offered floral tributes at Saint Kabir Samadhi on the occasion of the 500th death anniversary of the great saint and poet Kabir, and which happened on June 2018. And let's see some important facts about Saint Kabir. Kabir Das, obviously, he was a mystical poet and great saint from India, and he was considered to be born in 1440s and died in the year 1518. And he is the most important Nirguna Bhakti saint. So let's see, there are two kinds of Bhakti saints. One is Nirguna Bhakti saints and the other one is Saguna Bhakti saints. Let's see what are the difference between Nirguna and Saguna. Nirguna Bhaktas were devotees of a formless God. These kind of Bhaktas never had a God with a form. They used to worship God without any form, and they used to call God with different names like Rama, Govinda, Hari or Raghunatha. The most conspicuous among them were Kabir and Nanak. And the Saguna Bhaktas were devotees of God with attributes or in human form. They considered God in a human form, like Vishnu in its incarnations as Rama or Krishna are most popular deities that were worshipped by Saguna Bhakti saints. Okay, so thus Saguna Bhakti movement of North India was essentially Vaishnavites in character as compared to Southern Bhakti movement, which had both Vaishnavites and as well as Shaivites also. So in the North, Saguna Bhakti movements had only Vaishnavites in them, because they considered Rama and Krishna, who were the incarnations of Vishnu. But in the Southern Bhakti movement, both Vaishnavites and Shaivites were involved in Saguna Bhakti. And in here, Saint Kabir was a Nirguna Bhakti saint who worshipped God without any form. And let's see, Kabir's teachings were based on a complete, indeed vehement rejection of the major religious traditions and vouched for Nirguna form of Bhakti. And that's a quite important point. And the other point is that it is considered that he got all his spiritual training from his guru named Ramananda. Kabir's guru was Ramananda, and from him in childhood itself he got all the spiritual trainings. And Kabir Panth is a huge religious community which identifies the Kabir as the originator of the Sant Mat sects. Also, the Saint Kabir, in future, it formed a community and which was known as Kabir Panth, and it consisted of the followers of Kabir, Saint Kabir. Okay, and Kabir Das is the first Indian saint who has coordinated the Hinduism and Islam by giving a universal path which could be followed by both Hindus and Muslims. Kabir Das is the first Indian saint. That is an important fact. You should note that Kabir Das is the first Indian saint who coordinated both Hinduism and Islam by giving a universal path which could be followed by both Hindus and Muslims. And the other point is that according to him, every life has relationship with two spiritual principles. This is a very good point. You should note this. And this is his viewpoint of Saint Kabir about life. He says that every life has relationship with two spiritual principles, and one is Jivatma and the other one is Paramatma. And his view his view about moksha is that it is the process of uniting these two divine principles. That is, he says about moksha, and his viewpoint about moksha is that when the two divine principles, that is Jivatma and Paramatma, gets united, it's called moksha. And Kabir Das has written many things, and some of his great writings are Bijak, Kabir Granthawali, Anurag Sagar, Sakhi Granth, etc. And that's it about Saint Kabir. And let's move on to Badshahi Ashur Khana. Okay, so Badshahi Ashur Khana. Why was it in the news? It was in the news because Telangana government and Aga Khan Trust are working to restore Badshahi Ashur Khana monument, and it's a monument. Let's see about something about Badshahi Ashur Khana. Badshahi Ashur Khana is a Shia Muslim mourning place near Charminar in Hyderabad, India, and it was constructed in memory of martyrdom of Imam Hussein in the Battle of Karbala, and is used during the festival of Muharram. And Karbala is a place in Iraq, and this monument and this was constructed in the memory of martyrdom of Imam Hussein in the Battle of Karbala, and it is used during the festival of Muharram. And it was built by Muhammad Quli Qutb Shah in 1611, 3 years after building Charminar. Okay, so soon after 3 years of construction of Charminar, Badshahi Ashur Khana was also built, and it was built by Muhammad Quli Qutb Shah. And Ashur Khana is famous for its resplendent tile work that have retained their luster and vibrant colors even after 4 centuries. It's been 4 centuries, and still now they are very famous for their tile works and the vibrant colors. So let's see something about Muhammad Quli Qutb Shah, who constructed this Badshahi Ashur Khana in 1611. He was the 5th Sultan of Qutb Shahi dynasty of Golconda, who ascended to the throne in 1580, and he founded the city of Hyderabad, you guys know that, and built its architectural centerpiece, the Charminar. Charminar was also built by Muhammad Quli Qutb Shah, and he was the person who founded the city of Hyderabad also. And he also built Charkaman Archways. You can Google it, Google Charkaman Archways. You'll get some awesome pics about Charkaman Archways. And he is a contemporary of Tulsidas, Mirabai, and Surdas. Okay. And one important thing is that his poetry is bound to earth and reveals in the universality of love and mystique experiences. And it was in his reign that Jean-Baptiste Tavernier visited and wrote about walking into the Qutb Shahi tombs complex, where carpets were laid out and whoever walked in was served pulao. It was during the reign of Muhammad Quli Qutb Shah that Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, he was a traveler, and he in his travelogue he wrote that while he was walking through Qutb Shahi tomb complex, where the carpets were laid out, everyone was served pulao. Whoever walks through that, everyone was served pulao. And let's see something about Battle of Karbala. And in this Battle of Karbala, Imam Hussein lost the battle, and in his memory of martyrdom of Imam Hussein in the Battle of Karbala, the monument of Badshahi Ashur Khana was built. And let's see something about Battle of Karbala. It took place in 680 AD, Ashura, or 10th day of Muharram. So that's the connectivity, that this happened, the battle happened on the 10th day of Muharram. Brief military engagement in a place called Karbala in Iraq, in which a small party led by Al-Hussein, grandson of the Prophet, was defeated. Al-Hussein is the same Imam Hussein, and he was a grandson of the Prophet, and was defeated and massacred by an army sent by the Umayyad Caliph Yazid I. And the battle among Shiite Muslims, followers of Al-Hussein, the 10th of Muharram became an annual holy day of public mourning. And that's it for Badshahi Ashur Khana. So let's move on to Seva Bhoj scheme. Okay, so Seva Bhoj scheme. From the name itself, it is clear that it is related to something to government sector or some ministry, that Seva Bhoj scheme is there. So why was it in the news? Recently, Ministry of Culture launched a new scheme called Seva Bhoj Yojana. So let's see something more about Seva Bhoj Yojana. It is a central sector scheme to reduce financial burden of charitable religious institutions. And it envisages reimbursing the central government share of Central Goods and Services Tax, that is CGST, and Integrated Goods and Services Tax, that is IGST, of such charitable religious institutions who provide food, prasad, langar, bandara free of cost without any discrimination to public or devotees. So through this scheme, the government is planning to reimburse the CGST and the IGST to the charitable religious institutions who provide food, prasad, langar, etc. for free of cost without any discrimination to public or devotees. Okay, so and there are some terms such as it is applicable to all charitable religious institutions such as temples, gurudwara, mosque, etc., 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 which follows the following norms. There are in total of 4 norms, and they should follow these 4 norms. Only then they'll be eligible for this scheme. So let's see what are the norms. The norms are: the institution which have been in existence for preceding for 5 years before applying for financial assistance or grant. That's the first thing. Second thing, institution which have been distributing free food, langar and prasad to public for at least past 3 years on the day of application. So that means the institution who is applying for this scheme should have been giving or distributing free food, langar and prasad for the past 3 years, at least for the past 3 years. Third point is which serve free food to at least 5,000 people in a month. The institution should provide free food to at least 5,000, a minimum of 5,000 people in a month. And the last point is which should not be blacklisted under provisions of FCRA, that is Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, or any other act or rules of the central or the state government. That is, that those institutions should not be blacklisted under any provisions of FCRA or any other acts of central or state government. These are the norms, and we can conclude this by the ministry will register the eligible charitable religious institutions for a time period ending with finance commission period, and subsequently the registration may be renewed subject to the performance evaluation of the institutions. And that's it about Seva Bhoj scheme. Let's move on to 37th UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay, so 37th UNESCO World Heritage Site. Why was it in the news? India's nomination of the architecture of Victorian and Art Deco ensembles of Mumbai has been included in UNESCO's World Heritage List. Okay, so how did this happen? Let's see that. It has been included in the list under Criteria 2 and Criteria 4 of the UNESCO's operational guidelines. So we should know what are the Criteria 2 and what is Criteria 4. So it's in the top right corner. Selection Criteria 2 and Criteria 4. Criteria 2 says that to exhibit an important interchange of human values on developments in architecture or technology, monumental arts, town planning or landscape design. And the criteria 4 is that to be an outstanding example of a type of building, architectural or technological ensembles on landscape which illustrates a significant stage in human history. So on behalf of these two criteria, UNESCO's operational these two criteria of UNESCO's operational guidelines, UNESCO the Victorian and Art Deco ensembles of Mumbai has been included in UNESCO's World Heritage List. And the other thing is that India also accepted the renaming of the ensemble as Victorian Gothic and Art Deco ensembles of Mumbai. First the name was Victorian and Art Deco ensembles of Mumbai. Now it is going to be renamed as Victorian Gothic and Art Deco ensembles of Mumbai as recommended by the World Heritage Committee. And some other facts are: this is the third site for Mumbai after the Elephanta Caves and Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus railway station. So, this is the third one after Elephanta Caves and Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus railway station for Mumbai to be in the UNESCO World Heritage List. And across India, there are now 37 World Heritage Sites. And among them, 5 sites are in Maharashtra. And Maharashtra is leading with 5 sites, which has the maximum number of World Heritage Sites in India. And India stands second largest in number after China in Asia Pacific region. It is overall India stands 6th in the world. Okay, and let's see something about World Heritage Committee. World Heritage Committee is an executive body, you guys know that. And other facts are strategic objectives of the convention is based on 5 C's: credibility, conservation, capacity building, communication, and communities. Okay, and that's it. Nothing much about World Heritage Committee. And let's see about something about the site. This collection of Victorian and Art Deco landmarks is the largest such conglomeration and first of the combination of these two genres of architecture in the world to be included in World Heritage List. Okay, so this is for the first time that such a combination has been included in the World Heritage List. Combination of Victorian and Art Deco landmarks. The assembled consists of 94 buildings, primarily of 19th century Victorian Gothic revival. That is, the assembled consists of 94 buildings of the Victorian Gothic revival of 19th century and early 20th century's Art Deco style of architecture with the oval Maidan in the center. So you can Google the Victorian and Art Deco assembles. You will get some very awesome pictures. You should Google it so that it will remain in your memory. And some characteristics of Victorian art are, in Victorian art, they use pointed arches, heavy stone and brickwork, use of polychromes, that is contrasting colors are used, and bold forms like towers, massive hip and gabled roofs. And let's see some important facts about Art Deco. Art Deco, also called style modern, was movement in the decorative arts and architecture. So Art Deco is a movement in decorative arts and architecture. The Art Deco edifies with their cinemas and residential buildings blend Indian design with Art Deco imagery, creating a unique style that has been described as Indo-Deco. And that's it about 37th UNESCO World Heritage Site. Let's move on to Ambubachi Mela. What is Ambubachi Mela? Why was it in the news? Ambubachi Mela, it's a 4-day annual fair which used to happen in Kamakya Temple in Guwahati, Assam. So, and this happened from June 22nd to 26th of this year. So that's why this is in the news. Let's see something about some important facts about the fair. It is celebrated to mark the annual menstruation of goddess at Kamakya Temple. So it's related to menstruation of the goddess. Okay, and it is celebrated on June of every year. Let's see some significance of the fair. And this fair is considered a very auspicious period when women pray for fertility and celebrate childbearing capabilities of women. It also marks as an occasion to promote awareness about menstrual hygiene. And also, Tuloni Bia ritual is also celebrated here, and which means small wedding. And this happens when a girl in Assam attains her womanhood. That is the first menstruation cycle when happens to a girl in Assam. They used to have this ritual which has a name of Tuloni Bia ritual. Okay, otherwise known as small wedding. And let's see some important facts about Kamakya Temple. It is situated in the Nilanchal Hills in Guwahati, Assam. It is one of the 52 Shakti Peeths or seat of Shakti followers. So, what are the 52 Shakti Peeths? Actually, in epics, it is said that mythology it is said that when Sati burned herself into death, her body parts were divided into 52 parts, and it was placed in 52 places in India. And among those 52 places, one place is Kamakya Temple, where that Sati's womb and genitals are kept. That is the concept. It is believed to be the site where Hindu deity Sati's womb and genitals fell after she burned to death. And Kamakya Devi, the reigning deity, is also worshipped as the goddess of fertility. We said earlier that they used to pray for women fertility, and it is also considered as one of the prime seats of tantric rituals. And that's it about Ambubachi Mela. Let's move on to the last topic of this section, that is India Vietnam MOU on postal stamp. Okay, India Vietnam MOU on postal stamp. Why was it in the news? What is the importance of this thing? Okay, so let's see it. Recently, Union Cabinet has signed a memorandum of understanding with Vietnam on postal stamp. So what was the background? The Postal Department of Vietnam and Indian had signed an agreement in December 2017 to issue a joint stamp on India-Vietnam joint issue on the theme Ancient Architecture. Okay, so the theme was on ancient architecture, and the agreement has been approved now by the cabinet, that is on the month of June of this year 2018. And the joint commemorative stamp depicts Sanchi Stupa, which is in India, and Pho Minh Pagoda of Vietnam, which was released on January 25th of this year 2018. And what is the difference? So first of all, we should know about the difference about stupa and pagoda. Let's see the difference between stupa and pagoda. Stupa is the term used for a Buddhist structure in India or Southeast Asia, while pagoda refers to temple or a sacred building in East Asia which can be entered and which may be secular in purpose. Okay, so this is the major difference. And other differences are, stupa is a hemispherical dome. You can notice in the below pictures are given. Stupa is a hemispherical, see, you can notice that stupa is a hemispherical dome shaped structure which contains relics of remains of Buddha or a Bodhisattva, whereas pagodas have sets of multiple discs. You can notice it in here. Pagoda has sets of multiple discs. It has many levels which goes up. And unlike the typical stupa, the pagoda actually has interior space, sometimes on several levels. It is said that unlike stupas, pagodas have interior space also, and it can go sometimes they have space on all levels also. Pagodas are found in Nepal, China, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, etc. Okay, so let's see some important facts about Sanchi Stupa. It is one of the oldest structures in India and was commissioned by 3rd century BC by Emperor Ashoka. And it is believed that during the reign of Shunga Emperor Pushyamitra Shunga, it was vandalized. Okay, so during the Shunga Emperor Pushyamitra Shunga, it was vandalized, while under Agnimitra Shunga, who was son of Pushyamitra Shunga, it was refurbished. Okay, so that's an important fact. It was vandalized during Pushyamitra Shunga and refurbished during Agnimitra Shunga, who was son of Pushyamitra Shunga. Okay, and during the Shatavahanas period, the gateways and the balustrade were built and highly decorated. The gateways commissioned and were covered with narrative structures. Okay, and various events of life of Lord Buddha was carved also during the Shatavahana period. And as in the figure of the stupa has many levels, such as at the bottom it's toranas, then towards up it comes the upper walkway, and above that the hemispherical dome is called anda, and above that harmika, and to its above it's yasti and chhatri. Okay, and the Sanchi Stupa has 4 beautiful carved toranas. In the bottom you can see the image that torana is at the bottom, and it is said that the Sanchi Stupa has 4 beautifully carved toranas, or the gateways, which depict various events of Buddha's life and Jatakas. And it has been enlisted as UNESCO's World Heritage Site in 1989. And let's see some important facts about Pho Minh Pagoda of Vietnam. It was built during the Le Dynasty and was later expanded in 1262 during Tran Dynasty. So in the to the right, you can see the picture of pagoda. It has many levels from the base to top, and it was a place of high-ranking Mandarins and the aristocracy of the Tran royal court to worship and lead their religious life. Okay, so like the stupa, pagoda has also many parts which has names: base, stairs, podium, pillar, balustrade, tile, beam, bracket, eave, phenyl, roof, and etc. And so that's it for today. So we're winding up. So we have covered the entire culture section of June Visions Current Affair. So next we'll be dealing on the next video we'll be dealing with science and tech of June Visions Current Affairs. Till then, bye. Have a good day. All the best. Thank you.